Testing. Testing, yeah. What I'm actually wondering now in this code is, why do we even pass the direction in the first place? To style begin. Can't style begin just get it from the element? This whole thing's a bit weird. I guess, because it does anyway, like, well, style begin was paragraph begin, which in the output generator, and well, it isn't really, the direction doesn't come from the style. The direction comes from the element or from other things that indicate the direction. I mean, it does come from the element effectively, but at the moment, but I guess that's sort of incidental. Like if you were writing different types of layouts that had nothing to do with elements. Yeah, I guess that's why. So yeah, it should be passed in. We're saying begin paragraph, and the paragraph is a left to right paragraph or a right to left paragraph. But this stuff here then basically though needs to move up into the no, it can stay there. It can stay where it is. It does belong in the output generator. The base output generator can keep track of that. What belongs in the parent class is the default direction in the calling, in the layout. This is very tricky stuff to actually conceptually and mentally separate what should be calling what and who's, because there's several different things going on here. What makes it tricky also is how the TLex output generator is genericized in such a way that it supports multiple different backends, but the layout generation is driven from a single base class in an object-oriented fashion, so that you can generate HTML or RTF from the same layout generator. It just has a different backend RTF generator. It just links to the HTML generator or RTF generator in the backend. So in the preview, you have the layout generating HTML, but if you export RTF, this allows you to create exporters for any format just by implementing generators, which is quite powerful. But oh geez, I hate these Windows 10 gestures. Every time I shake a window by mistake. Desktop. Okay. What was I doing? That's really distracting. How do we turn off that nonsense? Settings. Gestures. Sometimes I do it on purpose. Shake a window. But it's not to see the desktop, it's just change weapons, several mouse gestures, it's really silly stuff. I mean, that's so silly. Anyway, okay, alright, so this is very tricky because, so we have we have what we call the export formatted, but that's effectively an arbitrary layout in a way. Like, we may want to write different types of layouts in future. We do in fact have other types of layouts. And your layout could have nothing to do with TLex or TLTerm. In fact, it could be just custom stuff. So you could use this to just, I don't know, completely other purposes that have nothing to do with, you just want to say begin a paragraph, begin an HTML paragraph, or begin an RTF paragraph. And then you'll have some logic of your own to determine the direction. So this MBRTL thing, that belongs in the layout. But okay, what calls style begin here? Style begin. So the layout calls style begin, and style begin is a function of also the layout. I could export formatted up. That's what it used to. That's what it's called, class. But in my mind, I've shifting to a better name. It's a layout. It's a layout generator, or the int call style begin over here when we call begin element. This logic, this I think is the correct place, not inside style begin. I don't think style begin, I don't think it, or should it? Actually no, it should. Actually it doesn't really matter because these are both part of the same layout. No, it does matter, it does matter. Because style begin, I don't know, both don't quite seem right. Style begin is just beginner style. It shouldn't be worrying about, it shouldn't per se be worrying about, oh look, you know, it should just say, oh look, begin a paragraph or whatever. Currently the output generator paragraph B function is this thing doesn't always work. Sorry, the background noise. So if we don't have a direction of the text yet, then we need a default. Okay. This makes no sense. I don't know. This is what I left off last night because I tried to work on this stuff and then I was like, what's going on? Okay. The place where it checks the MBRTL flag, that's what's worrying. This is MBRTL, and that's basically effectively the default direction for the entire not even corpus, sorry, this is a different one. Output generator. So now output generator, which is our layout, gets past a document or whatever, gets past article begin, and it tells it whether the entire thing is right to left or not. In other words, the entire thing should be right aligned. Then that gets used here in paragraph B in the HTML generator. That doesn't make sense to me. Oh no, it doesn't get used there, sorry, I'm talking nonsense. Oh, it does. But this isn't even the same class. What's going on here? If MBRTL, I guess it can be in the output generator, that's not wrong. Because, yeah, no, it's not wrong. Conceivably, then why does it bother passing it around to style begin? When paragraph B can just check it itself. That's Because now this is weird. We're getting past the direction. This I don't understand. We're getting past the direction, but then we got to sit and figure out the default direction if a direction is not on the stack yet. Oh, excuse me. Oh. What's annoying is, in a way, is this stuff was working. I mean, we had right to left documents, and I mean, I'm basically re-engineering a few things, but now on code I wrote very long ago, and it has since been adapted to support other things, a whole lot of other things. No, I'm busy making it more powerful, more options, more capable of, so that element, that thing that calls paragraph B, it's confusing also. It says a paragraph begin and a paragraph B. Why is there a paragraph begin and a paragraph B? What the hell? Who wrote this? Someone deserves a slap. Okay, paragraph begin. It's genuinely a paragraph begin and a paragraph B, paragraph end and a paragraph E. It's like, what the fuck? Like, anyway, which one are you supposed to call and when? I'm not sure if I wrote that though. That doesn't look like. That looks like something Malcolm probably added. Actually, I don't know. No, I may have added it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the this begin RTL, I'm not even sure that makes sense either. Because begin RTL, to begin RTL, like that's really generator specific even. Like you begin a right to left paragraph, or you begin a right to left something in HTML. You don't just begin right to left. I mean, you can in a way, I guess, in the middle of text, but then it still has a specific meaning. Begin RTL in the middle of text. So this calls begin RTL, but you know, I don't even think that should do anything. It should just do nothing and just pass in the direction. No, it can do something. It can do something. Yeah, it does do stuff. Like yeah. So it does have a meaning. Output Unicode right to left directional marker, for example. And yes, okay. So this is. It should just be renamed. It should be that, not to be confused with beginning a right to left paragraph, for example. But it's a bit strange because yeah, it does push on the current direction stack. It says that we're right to left. My head doesn't feel right. I think my blood pressure feels low. Or what? Look at this 8:14. It's like, that's not a good way of doing things, surely. I suppose it's faster than calling string length. You've got a constant, you know the length. But, yeah, anyway. The purpose of passing the length is it's faster, I think. But that's also a recipe for trouble. You give it one, get the number wrong, or somebody changes only the string and not the number. Is this such a thing in C++? Is a constant string length of a constant string? C++ get const string length of const string. I don't know if you can do that. I'm just curious. If you can do that, then you can solve that problem. Actually, I mean, the compiler knows the string length. But you don't want to call a function because that's slow. The point is getting a constant string length. Why not? Because it's a constant string. So the compiler knows. Surely. Size of? Can you put size of on a? Oh no, you're gonna get the size of a const char star, or w char star, which is the size of a pointer, which is wrong. The other way is very simple. Size t bit. In this case, the answer is known at compile time. That's fine, except I don't want to use a standard string. Oh wait, it looks like we can do this with. Why is somebody marking this -1? This is a really good answer. This is what I need to know. The cases where the string is not a compile time constant. Because of some this is Stack Overflow. No, the moderators on Stack Overflow all need to be hit on the head. Really? This is exactly the answer to my question, and it's a much better answer than this, right? So it gets marked -1, and some dolt marks it down or complains about it on. I don't know if they -1 it, but let's presume that's probably the case. Because of some minor little technicality about const char star, which is actually even wrong. This will work with const char star. Anyway, this is a good answer. It's a very good answer. In case the answer is known at compile time. I almost want to create a Stack Overflow account just to boat this up. I don't think I have an account. Anyway, but you don't want to get sucked into Stack Overflow, arguing with Stack Overflow moderators, because they're just universally a bunch of power tripping idiots. This answer deserves a +1, it really does. Anyway, that's assuming it works. Now this guy who gives a really good answer to a question will probably never answer any questions again. That's Stack Overflow. Anyway. The thing about these forums, it seems to be a universal thing with forums. You get these people who, I don't know, they're obviously not good at real life or something, but then they find that in some forum they can be a little powerful little moderator. But they're usually not the most competent people. So, anyway. Outstring. I'm curious if that'll work. I'm gonna make a it'll fix me out. Fix me out of something. Make this sort of thing so it's me low, it's not a priority. Passing fonts, string length, font string, check out the -1 dancer. Try that. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Okay. I'll check something. Switch dash. This internet service provider seems to be working better so far than the other one. I'm a new internet service provider, and it feels more stable. However, the company is not very. They've gone and overbilled me now. Anyway, now they billed me twice. Because, anyway, I don't want to moan about that. It reminds me, I have to contact them to reverse the double billing. Okay, but the internet's faster than the other ISP so far. Well, I've only been trying it for 2 days, for 1 day. So I'm not sure yet, but yeah. So begin right to left. Okay, I think I must add some comments to if I use I was talking yesterday about a hard right to left and a soft right to left, and if I use the number into in direction, I think it's a bit better because I'm just checking my bank account here. No, let's build. So 375. Damn it, yeah, these fuckers. They're going in. Wait, I don't see it reflected yet. Huh? I got a message. Yes. It said 494 reserve. That's not wrong. That's right. They've double billed me. But it's. I don't see it. I don't see it. But it might just be. My email. Support tickets. Oh, damn it. Open new ticket. People are really wasting my time. This is really irritating. I do not have time. This company, I'm really going. Anyway, account. This really wastes my time. It now overbilled me 375 rand. No, man. Okay, where was I? Paragraph B. So what I was wondering is this business of passing in the direction, or if it should not pass in the direction. If it doesn't pass in the direction, I guess the question is, why does it pass in a direction but then also just calculate a direction? That's the question. Okay. Is there a good reason? The export formatted, what it does is calls begin element. Begin element calls style begin on the element style. The element knows the element direction. But that might be why, but I'm not style begin. But that is not how it's being called though. Or is it? It is in fact. Yeah, begin element. So yeah, the element knows. Begin element knows the element direction. That's why it does it this way. And that calls style begin. But it's a bit weird because, and it's not weird, yeah. No. Style begin, so just say style begin. And then style begin says, okay, it's a paragraph. If it's a paragraph. What does it? This is a bit confusing, this. Anyway, so this, oh, it just calls paragraph again, whether or not it's a paragraph. Why does it do that? In paragraph B, I think I need all three of these functions on the screen at once, just to really understand what the hell it's doing. So paragraph B gets called whether or not it's a paragraph, and then it checks if it's a paragraph. Isn't that a bit silly? Like, shouldn't the check be outside in the caller, and it just not call it? Or maybe that was the point of this function. If it's not a paragraph, it does nothing. Okay. Also the RT, it's not a paragraph, it does nothing. That's kind of weird. Anyway. I think I can safely change this function signature. That is easy enough. I mean, I don't need to do all these for all the paragraph B's, right? I really don't need to do that. I can safely change the function signature already and say it takes an int. Okay. And get rid of BRTL paragraph. That is not a problem. Okay. What I might not want to do exactly yet is okay, so style begin passes in RTL paragraph, right? So every time we even call style begin, we have to use an integer instead of a variable. That's fine. The default can just be 0, if not otherwise specified. And the semantics are really easy to see. Term-based export. See this term-based export. This should be layout. I think layout is a better word. Let's check it's not in Lua. Yeah, it's not in Lua. Export formatted. Term export. Term base export. What's that? Maybe layouts. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. So the question is, do we, in paragraph begin, do we bother to look for the default? I don't think so in this case. I guess that's a layout. If we pass it in though, then the point is moot, because there is no default, there's just what gets passed in. What if you create a formatted export and say begin paragraph? It shouldn't take the direction. Oh, it must take the direction. You're saying begin paragraph. But if it must take the direction, then that means you can't begin a paragraph without at least either giving it a direction or implicitly saying inherit. If you've said inherit, it must fall back to the default. Whose job is it to pass in the default? That's the default there, right? So basically what we're saying is if the direction stack is empty, we need to revert to the default. But what if the direction stack is empty, but someone's passed in a direction? What does that mean? Let's say RTL is true, so for right to left document, but someone's begun a paragraph that says left to right. I think that's a bug, but it's a bug in the TLex context, but it's not a bug in the conceptual sense. There's nothing conceptually wrong with doing that. Per se. Let's say you were generating a document that was right to left, except it had one left to right paragraph. For whatever dumb reason. Is that legitimate? I don't know. Like in... Well, no, it couldn't be. It might not be a dumb reason. Like, let's say I have a right to left text, but I have a quoted block of English text. Like, I don't know, there's a Gandhi quote or something in the middle of it. You know, that isn't necessarily translated, but it's now left to right. I'm just trying to think of... Okay, so I don't think that's per se wrong. But then the direction must be explicit in that case. So I think if it's 0, if direction is 0, if the text direction is empty, then we use the default direction only if direction is 0. Otherwise we use the explicitly passed in direction. This seems so obscure. So if direction is 0, and this, now we passed in a direction, and now see what I did stupid yesterday, is I've written a shadowed variable, bad. If direction is 0, then direction equals MRTL minus 1, else 1, I guess. No, 0. Default. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if it's that just means inherit, I guess. Inherit the default, which will be left to right. Because what I want, what we've got so far is in our left to right documents that are fully left to right, we're outputting explicit left to right markers, and I've never actually liked that. Like, and this will fix that. Finally, this new system. Like, I've never liked that. Like for the VAT, for example, and the VAT's huge, you know. It's massive database and it's left to right, and now just in terms of keeping things optimal, like Afrikaans, wat is Afrikaans? Nou, should we, yeah, if we do a view source on this, you know, we're going to find left to right markers all over the place. So even though it's this the default, which left to right, it's full of left to right markers, and for a big dictionary like this, that's not that's very really inefficient. Like you know, you can optimize the HTML, but afterwards as post-process step for publishing, but it's still, you know, it would be nice if it didn't generate those things in the first place. But these changes I'm going to make now are going to fix that. These changes I'm making now, yeah, something like this should correctly no longer generate unnecessary explicit markers for fully left to right text. As we say, if it sits on 0, which equals inherit, and output the markers or inherit from, yeah. Okay. So for now we don't have an explicit left to right, but that doesn't matter because, I mean, we do it for element level, but not on the document level. So, direction star empty and inherit to is document direction as default fallback. Okay. So that means, yeah, explicitly left to right stuff. If it's explicitly LTR, it gets LTR. If it's explicitly RTL, it gets RTL. If it just inherit, it doesn't have anything. So I think that makes sense. Now, when you pass in, you can just say pass in default. But now this has to be done, unfortunately. Every time, in every output generator, there's paragraph B. I think it should be done in the base class, actually. But that's not a reference, so we can't change this in the base class. Let's go for now. Then, if, yes, and then we only push back, we don't push back an inherit. We just push back explicit. On the stack. The stack is to know what current direction you are. So that if you're saying inherit, but surely there needs to be code here somewhere that also checks the value. on the back of the stack. I don't think it needs to. I think for now we can just, I think that's going to complicate things. Just keep it simple. If the element is LTR, we LTR, even if it's already LTR. Because those are explicit markers. Just in case this stack stuff fails. Okay. And I see, yeah, we already pushed back. So whether we push back, we don't need to push back at the top, yeah. Okay. We either push back at the top or bottom, but not both. And this basically, I'll get it working in HTML first, and once it's working there, I'll get the RTF working. RTF. Then, so yeah, they were basically the same thing needs to happen here. Okay. Then this isn't quite right. This must output a LTRCH. Yeah, it must if, yeah, I think. Let's do something like this. Okay. And likewise, and now we must be careful because it's going to pop this stuff somewhere. And how do we know whether to pop? If we haven't pushed to 0, we can't just blindly pop. Maybe we should always push, even the inherits. That just makes it more complicated to figure out the current direction. But it makes it easier to deal with the pushes and the pops of the oh, so this does check the stack back. Yeah, so if we push zeros on the stack, we're gonna have to, yeah, we can't just blindly pop anymore on the back of the stack. We'd have to know the direction. I wonder if we should put a pointer to the thing that pushes onto the back of the stack. Maybe we should push a pair, just so that you can, or something, not a pointer, but a node or some information, so you know, so we can check the integrity of the stack. I don't mean the system stack, I mean the text direction stack. It's also a bit, I don't know, it doesn't feel right that we have to do this in each, like for the HTML and the RTF. It should be done in the base class. Maybe that's what the point of trying to have a paragraph begin with separate virtual function, so that some of the core functionality could be in the base class only in one place. Every paragraph B should be matched by paragraph E. Whatever passes in, which is the thing that the caller doesn't know if you push on the stack, because of the way the in any case, what I can safely do already, I'm going to change this signature function signature to just take an integer, okay, everywhere. See, this should probably also take a direction or something, I don't know. It needs to know that paragraph begin pushed something on the stack, because when it unwinds, yeah, and now this style begin must also change. All the style begins must change to also take an integer. Okay. Yeah, I like this because I really don't feel like cleaning up all this later again. This is better. But to make matters more confusing, there's a style begin and there's also a begin style. So there's a paragraph B and a paragraph begin, a paragraph E, a paragraph end, style begin and a begin style. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about it. I know who wrote it, it wasn't me. Right, absolve. It was. Anyway, mostly me. Take full responsibility. Okay, so style begin. So paragraph B. All paragraph B's should just take a direction. Okay. That's a relatively safe change. I mean, it's not. It's safe unless I do something really stupid. That's safe. Okay. And all style begins must also be updated to take an integer. Instead of false, we just pass 0, which means inherit, or just use the default. We could do 1. I don't want to explicitly say, yeah, I don't want any explicit, LTR document, left to right document, I don't want any explicit anything. So I think, what is this? RTL -1 L0. Okay. And this is route entry sorted in term base. there's a subtle difference between 0 and, must be careful here, because I changed, I must be careful here, because I changed the semantics now slightly to eliminate redundant LTR tags, there is a semantic difference between passing false and 0. Passing false is actually more like passing 1 to say explicit LTR in the previous system setup. But I think all of these should really just be default inherit. But I'm gonna maybe just double check them before I commit. This is really tricky stuff, like, actually, because we've got existing users and we don't want to break it. I need to release an update without. So yeah, things need to change, right? Basically, in this new setup, if node not null and I get them not null, node element is R2. Basically, this new thing, export formatted begin element, can pass the direction of the element, and does that regardless of if it's a paragraph. So even if it's a regular, yeah, that's something to check. If element is regular. So basically this must change to call get direction on the element. And quick me can go because yay, because it's not an issue anymore. Alright, the start again. What the fuck's this? Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's a highlight style in the beginning of an element. That's very interesting that that's there. Anyway, you know, there's so much stuff in the code that you only know after like 10 years of development or whatever, and you look back in hindsight and you see, you know, you have a bigger picture look of all the requirements. Start again. There's no shortcuts to that, really. You know. Let's see if this compiles. Now, one thing that's going to be wrong is the pushes and the pops of the text direction. If we change function signatures in subtle ways in the core library, I prefer to do a clean rebuild. I don't know, Visual Studio sometimes doesn't, it gets confused. Anyway, start again. So the paragraph B stuff, This is really annoying. You know, that Alt N is supposed to take you there. And when I press Control Shift F and Alt N, there it works. But if I search, something doesn't work. What doesn't work? Control Shift F. Now it's working. Anyway, whatever. Paragraph B, base class. So previously, it would always push a 1 on the stack for LTR text, even if it wasn't explicitly marked LTR. The changes I'm making now, it's not going to push anything if it's just defaulting to LTR. There's nothing going on the stack. And it shouldn't. However, that complicates the place where it pops. If we search for dot pop, Control Shift F, and we dot pop back. Sorry, that thing's a stack. And we look here in LTR, paragraph E. You say yeah, okay. Right. So this pop should now follow the logic. Now, unfortunately, it can't follow the logic of the parent anymore, because where's the parent, damn it? F2, yeah. Huh? Why is paragraph E not like closed? Paragraph B. It should be like paragraph E should be right underneath paragraph B, so that you can work on them, see the symmetrical nature of them. Okay, paragraph B. So style begin calls paragraph B, but style end calls paragraph E. Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be situations where that stack integrity fails because of this unwinding stuff. So I'm going to just Control Z. That comment I just made about to debug a search is not right. No, wait. Just debug a search will probably fail anyway. Sometimes because of the incorrect unwind known situation. CD parity stuff. So probably not careful. I don't know. Not completely straight. But then don't pop when back. So Yeah, that is a tricky story because the elements can nest indefinitely. It's not a TLex problem in a way. It's like in Word, paragraphs can't actually nest. In HTML also, but divs can nest. But in TLex, elements can nest. But you can specify an element as having a paragraph style, and if you then nest them, you end up with nested paragraphs. But since it cannot generate nested paragraphs, the system has to unwind your incorrectly nested paragraphs for you. And it happens sometimes in some TLex documents. It's really a pain to deal with. There isn't really an easy answer. Anyway, but yeah, the should always be true, just in case. Okay. Is that true? Is it? Right. Okay. I should probably make a test document that's deliberately nested paragraphs just for testing that stuff. Anyway, so this thing that pushes pops on the back, blah 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 blah. I think the simplest solution for now is just to push 0 on the stack, because the only stuff that checks it is not going to cause problems. Like it might be less efficient. It might, because yeah, I think yeah, I think that's the simplest situation. The simplest solution for now is just to push 0 on the back. This check, yeah, if you, let's say you've got a paragraph, you begin a right to left paragraph, and then you begin some right to left attributes or text in that paragraph. What that does is just that check will prevent it from unnecessarily just outputting a redundant span in a way for the text. But this is really gross. This 0 with non-joiner stuff. I want to look at this. Option should be an option. I think we need several controls. So I'll control the output. Maybe. No, not probably. I don't know. For the e.g. video override style. I don't know. That's Unicode bidirectional algorithm override stuff. Okay, so the stuff that pushes back, this stuff should then, I think, push always. This is a bit ugly and unreadable, but anyway. Let's push back to 0. Okay, we're going to push back to 0 for now. We might as well just, yeah, let's leave it like that, because it's nested to the old code. So yeah, it's not pretty, but I'll clean it up later once it's working nicely. Okay. So yeah, we have this else. Yeah, then same situation. Else push back to 0. Okay. Same story for the RTL. Boom, I think we're done. I think that should work. I think I'm finished with this set of changes. I just need to get it compiling, test it nicely, check for if I've forgotten anything. What have I forgotten? I don't know, I need to go to the bathroom. Okay. Test. That's very early. Okay, I need to go.